It's a very good evening and welcome to this Wednesday night's edition of Primetime News. I'm Selima Shimwe-Feleni. Leading this evening's bulletin, Minister of Finance Ipumbu Shimi today tabled the 67.9 billion Namibian dollars national budget for the 2021-2022 financial year in the National Assembly. The budget decreased by 4.9 billion Namibian dollars from the 72.8 billion Namibian dollars budget of the 2020-21 financial year. The theme of this year's budget is boosting resilience and recovery.
We are transitioning from unique circumstances and once-off emergency needs in the health and other social sectors during 2020. Having addressed such unique needs, I now table before you a 67.9 billion budget for the year 2021/2022. Budget revenue is projected to decline by 6.1% to 52.1 billion, from the estimated 55.5 billion in the current financial year end of this month. This is largely due to the expected contraction in SACU receipts. Over the remainder of the medium-term expenditure framework, revenue is forecast to gather pace at an average rate of 4.8% as domestic economic activity and regional trade pick up. Honorable Speaker, the proposed expenditure equates to 36.8% of GDP and 5.8% lower than the 72.1 billion budget of the current fiscal year, netting off the special considerations of the past year and underscoring the agency for a growth-friendly consolidation over the medium term.
One person died when a train derailed in Swakopmund on Tuesday. According to a police report issued by Erongo Region Crime Investigations Coordinator, Deputy Commissioner Erastus Ikuyu, the train was headed to Walvis Bay from Kransberg when the accident, which led to the death of the assistant train operator, occurred. The train operator also sustained injuries and was taken to the Cottage Private Hospital for medical treatment. The next of kin of the deceased person had not yet been informed and police investigations continue, Ikuyu said. A statement issued by Transnamib on Tuesday said rolling stock, which included 4 locomotives and more than 25 wagons, among them empty fuel and containerized wagons, were damaged in the accident. No harmful or hazardous goods were being transported at the time of the accident. With the arrival of the first batch of COVID-19 vaccines in Namibia on Tuesday, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, has called on Namibians to get vaccinated to help prevent the further spread of COVID-19. China has donated 100,000 doses of its Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine to Namibia, which arrived in Windhoek on Tuesday. The German government is still refusing to use the word genocide in reference to the mass killings of Ovaherero and Nama people between 1904 and 1908, Prime Minister Sarah Kuongero-Amadira said on Tuesday. Speaking in the National Assembly while updating parliamentarians on the progress made regarding negotiations between the governments of Namibia and Germany since 2015, the Premier said Germany is arguing that while atrocious crimes were committed against these communities, they have refused to use the word genocide.
And while the German government agreed to negotiate the issue of redress or reparations, which they consistently referred to as healing the wound, they refused to accept the term reparations. The Namibian side, with the intention of demanding restorative justice from Germany, find the term healing the wounds inadequate. Currently, both sides are discussing alternative terms such as reconciliation and reconstruction. However, an agreement on the terms has yet to be reached. Having not reached an agreement on the amount of reparations, the Namibian side has proposed to the German side to look at projects as a way of moving away and not to be bogged down by the reparations quantum. The said project will cover areas of water provision, rural and peri-urban electrification, road network construction, housing, education, vocational training, value addition, agricultural development and value addition, land acquisition and development, and so forth, within the framework of the 5th National Development Plan and Vision 2030. The project will be implemented in the 7 identified regions where the affected communities predominantly reside, namely Karas, Hardap, Komas, Kunene, Omaheke, Oshodonjupa, and Erongo regions.
We will be back shortly after the news roundup. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform in Kavango East is busy assessing the areas where damage was caused during the African migratory red locust outbreak in the region. The locusts have migrated from Kavango East but continue to invade the Kavango West region, Agricultural Scientific Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Katrina Moses, told the Namibia Press Agency on Tuesday. Moses said the locusts migrated to Kavango West from 7 March and since then, the ministry has not received reports from community members on locust sightings in Kavango East. Moses said the Office of the Prime Minister needs this data in order to prepare for the distribution of drought relief aid. Once the size of the damaged crops has been ascertained, the ministry will hand over the information to the Regional Council, which will in turn forward it to the Office of the Prime Minister. The economics news will follow shortly. That's all the hard news we had for you tonight. Kindly stand by for your sports news with Shalva Wells.
Thank you, Salima. Greetings to you all and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Sport Planet. I'm Shalva Wells. We commence with news from southern Namibia. Patani will this weekend host the first edition of the David Isaak Football and Netball Tournament. Matches will take place at the Patani Sports Stadium from Saturday until Monday and will see teams from the Namibia Football Association's first and second divisions as well as non-league teams taking part. The tournament will be held under the theme Unifying Communities Through Sports. One of the organizers of the tournament, Felicity Swartboy, told Nampa on Wednesday they want to bring about unity amongst the youth and the community at the village. More sports news from southern Namibia. New kid on the block, Fort Love, showed its potential as it emerged victorious at the horse racing event held recently in Rehoboth. Fort Love, which made its debut at the MTC Derby in Okahanja November last year, showed dominance over the weekend as it clinched the 1,600-meter title at the joint horse racing competition organized by the Kobus and Chumas racing clubs at the Rehoboth turf on Saturday. The horse, which belongs to Angarmund Racing, beat championship horses Visigoth from Aminus Racing, which finished in second place, and Stalile from Makahanya Racing, which came third. Seasonal horses Stalile and Visigoth have been dominant in the main races of the thoroughbred competitions. We move on to rugby news. Wales are one win away from a second Six Nations Grand Slam in 3 years, but the final step in an unexpectedly successful campaign is likely to be the steepest when they take on a highly fancied France team in Paris on Saturday. As exciting as they might be, Le Bleu have some weaknesses, as their 23-20 defeat by England on Saturday showed, and Wales will be doing all they can to ensure the Welsh side do not have the space and freedom to set their live wire backline loose. For France to take the title race to the final game, their rearranged fixture against Scotland, they will need to get better at finishing off matches after failing to sustain their pressure in the last 10 minutes at Twickenham. We will return shortly after the sports roundup. That's all the news we had for you this evening. We thank you for tuning in, and if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like and share. From me, Shalva Wells, and the entire Nampa team, good night.